Unix 派优学派，我是英，
我是 T 哥。
今天我们邀请了一位同学来分享他的经历与故事。相较于我们，他才刚结束他的第一年，所以会带来全新的观点。对话过程全程会是英文，不过我们在 YouTube 有提供 CC 字幕以及翻译，有需要的听众可以去那边观看。节目最后我们也会用中文再帮大家做个汇整，以及说出我们的想法。那我们就开始咯。We're so glad to have you here, Cindy. So please, can you give us an introduction to the audience?
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name is Nyampu Magnetushin. You can call me Cindy just to make it easier. I'm currently a second-year student studying my bachelor's degree in computer science at the University of London. I'm currently doing my studies online from home in Mongolia. To go a little bit further in detail about my background and myself, I was born in Mongolia, but I grew up in the US, so my first language was English. And after staying in the US for a few years, I moved back to Mongolia and I completed my high school education here. And for university, I was really interested in learning about a new language and a new culture, so I chose to study in China. I actually completed a year of preparatory courses at the Tianjin Polytechnic University in advanced Chinese language studies. And after finishing that year, I wanted to pursue my education even further, and I actually had received 3 full scholarships from 3 different schools there, but I was unable to go back to China because COVID hit. So I had to go back to Mongolia and make another plan regarding my university education.
Okay, and how did you first find out about this degree?
It was around when COVID was major impacting Mongolia the most. We had to go into quarantine, and during that time, my older brother really helped me try to find options for universities and like majors that I could study. And he really helped me during that whole process. He actually graduated with a computer science degree at a university in the US, and he's working as a software engineer. Because he is quite familiarized with like situations and the matters in the field, he was able to let me know that the University of London is offering a global class bachelor's degree in computer science online. I thought the opportunity was perfect for me to pursue, especially from being home, given the conditions that still going on with the pandemic. Studying online really gave me the opportunity to really consider education online from being home and on campus, because it would really put me at risk due to the repercussions of what could happen during the pandemic, since it is still ongoing. Studying online is really a safer option. It was and still is a safer option for me right now.
Nice to hear that. And what's your biggest motivation to enroll?
Well, my brother, seeing his experience studying computer science and becoming a software engineer really made me curious to know what he did. Because at times when he would work from home, I would be able to look at what his computer had and what he was doing on his computer regarding work. It was all a bunch of cryptic numbers and letters. And I didn't understand how that had to do with technology and developing programs. So it definitely played a part in making me curious and sparking my interest to look into it. But I wouldn't say it was a main reason for me to enroll. It was just a reason for me to just spark my curiosity. I'm not sure I can say this for many people, but initially the main reason why I chose a path in computer science was not because of passion. But after I finished my first semester, I genuinely grew to enjoy learning about the mathematics and the programming and everything that is involved with building software and building hardware. So I would say that's the long answer. The short answer for me, I would say I really wanted to challenge myself. It was an option I wanted to try, and the main reason in my head was, why not? Why not try it? So yeah, that was my biggest motivation.
And okay, so since you mentioned that you didn't came in because of passion, could you tell us that what's the difference before you enroll and right now after a year?
There is a difference compared to how I was in the beginning and compared to just even finishing my first semester. In the beginning of my studies, not knowing anything about what computer science is and what you have to learn about it is a lot different to how I am now, because even after a semester of studying, I learned how computers work and programs are built and coding it's involved in it and the mathematics that goes into computing certain things. And after finishing that semester, I felt really satisfied because I had learned the fundamental mathematics for computer science. And also, I had built a fully functioning game, a 2D platformer game. And to even just say that I built and programmed a game by myself is something that not many people can say. So I was very happy that I had made so much improvement compared to, the first day of the semester.
I see. And like, how would you say, like, since you're not passionate, how would you say you work towards a goal? Anything else in your life that's like a goal that you're not passionate about, but you still went to achieve that? Like, you can still walk on that path. How did you do that?
I'm not sure I can say for other interests in my life, but specifically for computer science, I think that the passion is a concept typically portrayed in a way that everyone should have it in them from a young age when you're a child. But I don't think that's the case most of the time. I think to have a passion, you need to find an activity and work on it consistently for it to actually become a passion. In general, it's just a process of trial and error. And yes, there are people who just have known from a young age what they want to pursue and what their passion is, and that's amazing. That's great for them. But there are also many people who aren't that way. And I just happen to be one of those people. In my case, because I initially didn't get into computer science because of passion, it is growing into one. It is growing into a growing passion. I'm lucky to have ended up enjoying it to where I want to pursue it.
That's very nice. And so let's talk about your studies here so far. So what would you say is something that intrigued you the most during the course of your studies?
There are two things that actually really intrigued me during the course of my studies. Firstly, it was the amount of discipline it teaches you. Because this degree is online, attending lectures and watching videos, watching seminars isn't mandatory.
Yes.
Everything you learn is on your own time, and you get to decide when you want to learn.
Yep.
There isn't anyone who is constantly reminding you to study, to read, to prepare for that exam, and to write that program. So you have to teach yourself to work in an efficient way where you're able to do well in your studies. During all of this, it really teaches you how to discipline yourself and how to work on a schedule and work well on a schedule. Other than that, I would say I was really intrigued about the amount of diversity in the student body for this particular degree. There's so many people all around the world from many different countries.
Yes.
It's very heartwarming and exciting to know we're all connected by studying computer science and we're all surrounded by like-minded people.
Yep, exactly. That's the part that intrigued you the most, right? So what would you say is your favorite, so like your personal favorite feature about online degrees?
The flexibility of time would be my favorite feature because we are given study materials and lectures for every week, for every module that we take. And as long as we're finishing that certain assignment or that quiz before a certain deadline, we're free to do our own studying at times convenient to us. But that also can be looked at from another side because there's so much flexibility in time. It teaches you discipline and you have to learn how to work with it. I would say this is a really great feature for people who want to study this degree because it offers less of a time commitment, especially for people who have jobs on the side, full-time job, part-time jobs, who have kids or other things going on in their life.
Yeah, maybe more than half of our students, our peers, are working full-time.
Exactly.
Which is very common in our degree, yes. And then what would you say are some characteristics or even just one that you think are important or essential for people going into an online degree to have?
For me, it's very important for people to understand and internalize that the university social life is completely different. Studying online and experiencing the social life from an online perspective and experiencing the social life from an on-campus perspective is two totally different matters.
Yes.
Online studies doesn't really allow you to have the luxury of doing certain things in the social aspect. Every student is behind a screen when they're studying. They're restricted to face-to-face socializing and networking with their peers. This can be a bit difficult when you wish to, meet new people and connect with them.
Yes.
But our school fortunately allows every student to connect on a social media platform called Slack. Everyone can share their ideas amongst each other. This is also a solution that only helps the issue with socializing to a certain extent. Although we are fortunate to have this platform, we are still behind a screen.
Yes.
What I personally try to do, I try to go out of my way to message people and help them with certain things if they do need help, or I try to share my ideas with people or share my notes for some modules that people want. But other than that, I'm always on the lookout for joining certain clubs that I'm interested in at the University of London because those communities are a great way to meet new people and become friends with them. It's not necessarily from perspective where you have to connect academically and what that specific club's niche is.
True. And so what advice would you give someone, so not yourself, like someone that's interested in this degree, particularly so studying computer science and being online?
That is a very, very good question because I personally didn't know this before going into my studies. I would really say be prepared to be constantly learning. Computer science isn't a field where you learn something and once you finish that, that's the end of it. Technology is always developing and improving, and regardless of what branch you choose, you need to be basically learning all of that as it grows.
Yeah, I guess specifically technology, it's changing more rapidly compared to other industries. I guess we could put it that way.
Yes, exactly.
And what advice would you give yourself back when you first just started, so like a year ago?
Oh, I would definitely tell myself before starting this degree that I'm in for many ups and many downs. But in the end, it'll always turn out okay. Stressing over small obstacles, small hurdles, like not being able to figure out a particular problem in math or a bug in a program, it's not as big of a deal as it really looks if I'm looking at the bigger picture.
Yes.
Because I need to really make myself understand that I will eventually solve these problems. Or if I can't individually, I will always have the help from fellow peers. So personally, I would say it's all about trusting the process and really show in the end how much time you actually put in. The results never lie.
Okay, so last thing, do you have any things you want to share with us, with the audience, or just anything?
I would really like to have an open conversation about a topic that's not really talked about much, which is the mental health aspect about learning computer science or just being a part of this technological field. When it comes to studying a degree like this, the state of a person's mental health can fluctuate because studying online can become lonely for many people. Also, the pressure and the stress from studying, because computer science obviously is not an easy degree. So there is a lot of stress that comes from that. But depending on the person, they can really try to resolve this certain issue by, participating in certain activities that align with their interests. I mean, for me personally, it can get lonely sometimes because I'm studying online and there's a lot of schoolwork to be done. But I try to relieve that by either having study sessions with my friends by like video call, or when I'm not studying, I try to either do some form of exercise or meditate. I actually try to have a 15 to 30 minute meditation session every other day or so. It really helps me to empty my thoughts and calm down from all of this thinking.
That's very nice.
Yeah, those are just a few ways that someone can really boost their mental health state. When I actually think it's very important to ask your peers, the people that are around you, how they're doing mentally, and try to have like a conversation about it if they're open to it, like discussing each other's situation and their mental health state and what's going on in their life. And yeah.
The mental health is more important than physical health in the sense of people already took care of their physical health in general, so they know it's important. Different people have different ways of coping, and a lot of times you have to explore to find the right way for yourself. I often heard people saying things like, it's not possible. So people in the degree, by the way, it's not possible to form friendship purely online.
Oh, no.
If you try it, it's definitely possible. It really depends on the person.
Yes. Do you have any ways what you do to relieve certain anxiety or stress?
I would say just speaking. It's one of my coping mechanisms. Yeah, I'm not like the best to express myself by word, either writing or speaking, but I do actually envy those people that can convey or express their feelings through non-words, so like artistic, like artworks or music or like dance, like these kind of stuff.
Speaking definitely does lift a certain weight off your shoulders when you're just expressing what you feel to a certain person. Even if you aren't a very talkative person, or even if you are, it does provide that comfort to some sense.
Okay, so this is it for our interview with Cindy, and thank you so much for coming. And it's great to have this chat, have this talk with you. And yeah, do you have any last words for the audience?
I really want to thank you for having me on this podcast to speak about my story personally and to share information to other people regarding what they could know about this degree. It was really great being here and having a chat with you and discussing topics that aren't really spoken about. Yeah.
感谢 Cindy 参加我们这期的 interview， 分享了她在学这1年来的体验。我相信兄弟姐妹的影响绝对是非常大。Cindy 在哥哥的鼓励以及她自己好奇心之下呢，想要进入 Computer Science 这个领域，想必是看到科技业将来应该还是很有发展的。至少我自己也是这么认为啦。
对我来说呢，我跟 Cindy 很有共鸣，像是认同热忱这件事未必大家天生就有，他进来这个学程也不是因为对 Computer Science 很有热忱这2件事情哦，还有最喜欢的课都是离散数学这件事情。Cindy 简单来说是因为一句 Why not 而进来这个学程的，我的话可以说是类似，不过我们能撑下去的原因还蛮不一样的。我在中间有问他说，你为什么有办法在一条你没有极大兴趣的路上走下去？或者换句话说，就是你想达成的目标对你其实没有极大的吸引力，你是怎么克服或走下去的？这件事对他来说完全是可行的，对我来说反倒未必。也不是说我对一件事需要多大的爱才能走下去，比较像是我对于这种要放远看，就是超过2年吧的这种目标或是计划，比较没把握。如果不是个我已经确定我享受的事物，很难这样做决定或走下去。
真的，对于一个从完全 computer science 素人到1年后的 Cindy， 她那种勇于尝试和不畏惧困难的那份上进心呢，我觉得非常值得我们的学习。在她第1年线上的课程中，从无到有得到的成就感，就可以知道她在我们学校真的有学到东西，并且能够实际应用所学来实现一个小游戏的 project。这样的成就感，我相信会有更多同学将来会体验得到。常常我们都觉得某件事好像非常难达成，像是要读一个 degree 或是考一个职位，都很容易先在心里打退堂鼓。但是换一个心境的话呢，如果你肯去踏出那一步，你又怎么知道前面没有更好的机会等着你？甚至让你变成那个领域的专家，是吧？
好，那我们这期节目就到这里了。希望大家觉得 Cindy 的分享很有趣，或是能找到一些共同点，再不然就是练习了一下英文听力。最后，欢迎大家去 YouTube、Spotify、Google Podcast、Apple Podcast 收听我们的节目，也可以到 Facebook、Instagram 跟我们互动。那就下次见喽，拜拜。
拜拜。